Hi, self-publishing family. How are you guys doing? I hope all is well. If you're new here, I am Carlene, the founder and CEO of the Self-Publish Connection, where we help individuals to tell their stories through self-publishing. And we are also the host of the SPC Book Club, where we empower self-published authors. So today, I want you all to join us in doing an author interview with Miss Lona Isaacs, the author of the Book of the Month, Memorial Stones, Volume 1. So we're just going to get into some questions with Lona to, get her insights on her writing process, different things that she had to do when getting this book ready for publication. So let's jump right into it. Hi, Lona. Welcome. How are you today?
Hi, Miss Murray. I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Okay, great. It's great to have you. All righty. So we're just gonna jump right into it. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about yourself, just an introduction.
Okay. All right. So my name is Lona Isaacs. I am originally from St. Elizabeth, but I live in Kingston. And I have worked in the public sector for a number of years. I currently worship at the Fellowship Tabernacle, and I reside in the Corville Gardens community.
Okay, great. Well, that's not too far from where I
From
am.
you? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go into the questions. Our first question for today. Why did you write Memorial Stones Volume 1?
Okay, so I was going through a time of questioning God, and I'm sure a lot of us come to those points in our lives where things don't seem to be going the way we want to. And so I was at that point where I was questioning God and asking why, many of the prayers that I had prayed had not been answered. And then, he said, what about the ones that have been answered?
Oh.
Right. So as the song says, roll back the curtains of memory. He started to take me back, and I started to think back on, the many times when he had in fact come through for me in the past.
Yes.
And so I started to just make little jottings, no thought of writing a book. I was just writing down. And then after a while, the thought came, why not do a book? But, I was hesitant. Was very hesitant because I'm a private person and I didn't want to have my story out there.
Oh, there.
But the thought kept coming, do a book. And then because I've always liked to write, so I used to write poems and devotionals, but never thought of actually doing a book. So eventually I started, but then it still was a struggle. And then because I hadn't said it to anybody, it's like I was keeping a secret. But then I found that when I started to tell persons, it's as if, they say you begin to own it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, it started to take
Starts to
life.
become real.
And I started to get the interest. But it still took me a while to write the book. But eventually I did. It took me about 4 years.
4
But
years.
I did.
Wow,
Yes,
wow, wow.
it took long. It took a long time. Yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. Not everyone likes to have their information out there like that. So,
Yes.
but then we have to think about purpose. We have to think about the Lord to see,
Definitely.
what exactly is his plan for our lives,
Right. Yes.
All righty. Great. Thank you so much. So we're going to move on to question 2. What were the biggest challenges you faced while writing this book?
Okay, so as I said before, I was very hesitant. I was fearful. I didn't want to have my story. So I didn't at first, I would write a little, but I wasn't really into it. I wasn't fully persuaded, right? I wasn't committed. But then eventually, as it kept coming to me to go about doing the book. So I started, and as I said, it took a while because, there were times when writer's block. I want to write, but I just don't know. I can't seem to get my thoughts on paper. I know what I want to say, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't get it onto the paper. So, you know, a lot of stops and start, but eventually it came together. So I think that just the fear of getting it out. And then when I actually started the writer's block, and I think there was a time when I actually got sick. So I kind of put it aside for a while too.
Wow.
So
Mm-hmm.
then, because I think I started writing probably in 2015 or 2016.
Okay,
And
okay.
I took a while, but I was sick for a period because I wrote about that period in the book. And then the book was eventually published in 2020. Right.
2020. Wow,
Yeah. So
yes.
there was a gap in
Quite
between.
a
But
journey.
I
Quite a
persevered. I
journey.
persevered.
Quite
Yes.
a journey. Well, we thank God that you persevered, and you got it out.
Yes.
So it can now be a blessing to others. All
Yes.
right. So, how has your faith journey influenced your writing?
Okay, my faith has been significant. It has been a significant impact in my writing because I write from my personal experience with God. Both
Mm-hmm.
books, volumes one and two, they are
Yeah.
personal testimonies, not testimonies of others, but my personal testimonies where I have seen God come through in some miraculous ways,
Mm-hmm.
ways that I thought, there was no hope or no hope inside,
Okay.
but God came through. So my writing has been influenced by my faith. And even outside of writing the book, I blog as well. And a lot of my blogs are devotionals or testimonies that I
Mm.
share, which I hope will, and I know because I've been getting feedback, have been making
Blessing.
an
Mm,
impact.
impact.
So, my faith has been a consistent factor in my writing throughout.
Great, great,
Yes.
great. We have some things in common. I started a blog once, started to
Yes.
write some exhortations. I kind of fell off track with
Yes.
getting it, being consistent
Yes.
with it. But,
Yes.
we hope that all things will come together and we'll be able
Yes.
to move
Yes.
forward with that this year. Well,
Yes. Yes.
maybe next year. Let me not say this year. Next year, there's a lot on the table for the rest of this
For
year.
this year, yes. And the year is almost finished.
Yeah, we're in middle of
Yes.
September already. Can you
September.
imagine
Yes.
why flies so much? All right. So, was there a particular testimony in the book that stands out as the most impactful to you?
Okay, yes. So I mentioned earlier that when I started writing, I got sick for a little while. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had stopped writing. Yes. And that period, I think it's chapter 13 in the book,
Mm-hmm.
going through the valley. That was uh it was a rough time for me. I remember
Oh,
um there were a number of issues that came together. I was having hormonal issues and then I had sleep apnea, which flared up around that time. So I wasn't
mhm.
sleeping and I was just out of it. I fell into depression, and that is something that I kind of, was hesitant to share, but I'm glad
Share.
I did because so many persons could identify with that. So I went into a period of depression, and it was as if the rug had been swept from under my feet because I'd never been through anything like that in my life. And at first, I had no idea what was happening to me. I just knew I went to bed one night and I could not sleep. My heart was pounding. I kept getting hot. And then when I threw off the covers, I was cold and it was
Well,
back and forth. Yes. And at the time I really didn't know what was happening. But I just
mhm.
know that I could not sleep and that continued for quite a while. So I had to end up going to the doctors and had to be on medication and all of that. So I remember one night I decided to sleep in the living room instead of in the bedroom. And I
Mhm.
remember I think I may have dozed off a little,
Yeah.
and then I woke up again and I looked at my watch and it was 2:25 a.m. And as I looked at the time, I heard Joel in my head. And I
Mhm.
said, "Oh, Joel 2:25." And I got up and I read it. And it's the verse that says that I will restore to you the years that the locusts have
Okay.
eaten. And I knew I knew
Very
that was a
cool.
word from God for me as I was going through my situation. And so I held on to that verse, and I to this day I have it on my bathroom mirror. I
Yes.
typed it out and I put it on my mirror, and I kept declaring it over myself. Whenever I go into the bathroom and look up, I
Mhm.
would see it. And it's a verse that I know by heart. So, at various points through the day, I would keep declaring it over
Keep saying
myself.
it.
And that was something that really stood out for me, because I saw how God just eventually began to restore me. And the restoration, it's ongoing. It's not complete, but it's ongoing. And I can see the changes in myself. And it's a process, and I am really thankful to God that He has brought me from where I was to where I am
Where you are
today.
now.
It's
Yes.
yes, it's a
Yes.
great
Yes.
miracle. Yes, so I
Yes.
am
Yes.
grateful. I'm
That's
grateful for that.
awesome. That's awesome. Such a powerful, powerful testimony. God waking you up and giving you that scripture for you to
Yes,
meditate
yes.
on, and
Mhm.
declare over your life. That was awesome. That is awesome. All right. So we're moving on to the next question now. How has sharing these testimonies affected your own faith and healing?
Okay. For one, I can say that sharing the testimonies
Mm-hmm.
in the form of a book and getting the feedback from persons who have written the book, it has really strengthened my faith. And it has helped me to be able to encourage persons even more, the persons that I come in contact with who have experienced some of what I have experienced, because I can now minister to them from a
Yes.
point of having been there, not just hearing somebody else's story, but
Mm-hmm.
I have been there, and I know that God has done it for me, and that has strengthened my faith that He will, whatever I go through in the future, He will come through for me again. And I can also encourage those persons that whatever they are going through, they
Mm-hmm.
can be assured that God will come through for them.
I will
So
come through
the
for them.
personal nature of the testimonies has really strengthened my faith in God. Yes.
And that's
And
an
even my
awesome.
healing, I remember one of the stories. Well, it's not actually in volume one, but it will come up.
Yeah,
I
man,
remember
you
as
can.
I wrote that shared that testimony, sorry, about my relationship with my father. It was like a healing. I could feel like something lifted off my shoulders when I was writing and just reminiscing on the times that I spent with him. So, that too has been a part of the healing journey, a part of the healing process, just getting my thoughts on paper,
Mhm.
processing the things that happened. And it has been a blessing for me and for others.
And you said that's in volume two, Memorial
Volume
Stone
two,
two.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
great, great, great.
yes,
All right, I'm looking forward to that. So like
yes,
something that may bless me as it pertains to healing and fathers.
yes, yes. Because many
Okay.
of us carry father wounds, and
Oh my,
it
tell
affects
you.
us right through life. Yes,
It
yes.
does, it does, it really does, especially us as women,
Women,
because the
yes,
father is supposed to be the foundation for, the
yes.
basis
Mhm.
for how we measure other
Oh,
men. And
yes,
with
definitely.
father not being in the right position to
Mm-hmm.
teach us, to guide us, to do all of those things,
Mm-hmm.
having that
Yes,
awesome relationship, then
yes.
it does kind of
Creates a
blemish
wound. Yes. Yeah.
interact with other men. So,
Yes.
a lot of people, especially us Jamaicans,
Mm-hmm.
we have that father wound. And so it's
Yes.
amazing that you're able to share that information in book two.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we'll get
Mm-hmm.
to book two in the
Yes,
future
another time.
another time, but it's awesome that you're able to share that information to see how it will be, will bless other people, how it will help them
Yes.
through their journey with their father wound and healing. All right, so
Yes.
that's awesome. That is awesome. All right, so what advice would you give to someone struggling to trust God or trust in God in tough times?
Okay. There's a saying that tough times don't last, but tough people do. So I
Mm-hmm.
would encourage anybody who is struggling at this point or in their relationship or going through a difficult time
Mm-hmm.
to, first of all, just trust God, call out to Him. He will come through. because he promised that he will never leave us nor forsake us. Sometimes we really feel alone, we feel abandoned, we feel like God has forgotten us, but that is not really so. The truth is that he is with us and he will never leave us. So
Yeah.
we need God, we need to call out to him, and we
Mm-hmm.
also need to have people in our lives who will surround us and support us to provide that community that we need, because no man is an island. We can't do this alone. And so we
That
need
is so
others
true. That is
to
so
be there
true.
for us. And, when we are down, those around us who are strong, they can help us. And then vice versa. When they
Mm-hmm.
are down and we are up, we can help them. So we need to have that community. And just to be there for each other. So those would be my advice to persons who are going through. And another thing, as it comes back to me, same thing that I said when I was going through my rough times, and God gave me a word,
Mm-hmm.
that I could hold on to. What is good is for, even if you don't get a word from God, search the scriptures, talk to people, find verses that apply to your situation, and begin to declare those words over yourself. Write them out, type them out like I did, put it on your wall, in your bathroom, wherever you go, so you
Mm-hmm.
can see it, like when you're at home or at work. Have it visible where you can see it and meditate on it and declare it, because the word says that life and death is in the power of your
Power of
tongue.
the tongue,
And you
yes.
have what you say. So if you begin to speak
Mm-hmm.
over your life, then God will bring to pass what you have
What
spoken,
you have
because
said.
there's power in your word and there's life in your word. And you choose. If you want to see good, then you speak life. If you speak
Speak life.
negatively, then you're gonna see whatever you say, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
going to be good. So just trust God, find people, and just have that resolve in your mind that you will come through, you know. Life,
Mm-hmm.
we go through seasons, and there are times in our lives when things are good, and there are times when things are bad. But, we just have to know that it's a season, you will go through it, you will get through it with help from others,
Yes,
because you
yes.
can't do it by yourself.
Definitely, definitely. A lot of us or a lot of people, they don't realize how powerful our words are spoken
Yes.
out of our mouths, so
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
really can build you or it can
Yes, it can
break you
tear you
down.
down.
It
Yes,
can tear you
yes.
down. So
Mhm.
that's awesome. That's great. That's great advice, really thank you for that advice to persons who are going through hard times, to know that,
Mhm.
hey, so you may be going through hard times, but at the same time, you need to know, speak life over your
Yeah.
situation, speak
Mhm.
life over all that's going
Believers,
on.
yes.
Speak life,
Mhm.
speak life. All right. So, moving to the next question. How has writing this book changed your perspective on life's challenges?
Challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it has certainly shaped how I face challenges. As I just said, I realize that, life is about seasons. Nothing stays the same all the time. So sometimes there are good times, sometimes there are bad times. So,
Mm-hmm.
seasons come, seasons go. So we have to have that mindset that whatever comes, God is with us. And so if he has come through for us in the past, then he will come through again in the future. So, it gives me that perspective to know that, it's a win-win situation for me, because even when I go through the challenges, it means that God is preparing me for something, right? And he's also using the challenge that I'm going through to teach me something that I need to maybe move to the next level. So sometimes when you're about to be elevated in life or in your spiritual walk with God, something always comes as a test. And many times when you're going through, you say, boy, where is God? But there is this saying,
Mm-hmm.
the teacher is always silent during the test.
Through the test. Yes, yes, definitely,
So
definitely.
he's not gonna say he's watching to see how you're going to respond and whether or not you have learned the lesson. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so it has helped me to know that, everything is in God's hands. My steps are ordered. So anything that comes, he allows it, and he allows it for a
For a
reason, because
reason, for a
his word
reason.
says that he causes all things to work together for good, and no experience is ever wasted. So
That
I
is
can be
true.
confident that with God by my side and Him ordering my steps, I can face anything that comes my
That
way.
comes.
This has not always been the case, but I am learning.
I'm
I'm
sure
learning as I go
a lot
along.
of us
Yes,
are still not
yes,
there, but
yes, I'm
it's
learning.
good to know that there are others ahead of us who have
Mm-hmm.
reached, gotten to that point to say, okay, I'm now trusting God, regardless of what I'm seeing, because
Yes.
I know that all things work together for good, for them
Mm-hmm.
who love God. And
Mm-hmm.
He allowed it for a reason. So He's
Yes.
either giving you a testimony, a message, some other thing. And a lot
Mm-hmm.
of the times we tend to think that what we go through is just about us, but it's not just
Us,
about
no, no, it's for
so it will
others.
help others because
Yes.
your testimonies that you're sharing here will help other people going through similar situations. You
Yes.
understand? To say,
Yes.
okay,
Mm-hmm.
let me know, as Lona said in the book, let me try to exercise some of that faith to see how
Mm-hmm.
God's gonna come through for me in this season. I'm going through a
Mm-hmm.
similar situation. So let's just see, you know, how
Mm-hmm.
how I get through that situation.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
man, that's
Yes.
great. That is awesome. I'm telling you, sometimes the challenges in life may come at you hard, but
Yes. Yes. Yes.
writing the book and seeing, having that something that you can reflect on to say, okay, this is really all that I've been through, and God
Yes.
through for
God
me
has.
time.
Yes.
So,
Mm-hmm.
seeing it in black and white, having it recorded like that, it must
Mm-hmm.
be a powerful,
Mm-hmm.
moment.
Mm-hmm.
Look at you when you're reflecting. You
Yes.
understand? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that is
And
awesome.
if I might just add, a part of the inspiration too was for writing Memorial Stones was the
Mm-hmm.
story in Joshua where the children of Israel were crossing the River Jordan. And they
Mm-hmm.
were told that when they crossed over, they were to select one man from each tribe. And
Mm-hmm.
each of those men would pick up a stone from the river, and that would be used to create a monument. And
Mm-hmm.
then later on, they would be able to tell their children about that experience that they had, how God had come through, He had brought them through. So, memorial stones is my monument,
Yes,
just to
yes.
see, to relate to others, the things that God has done for me, and something that will not just serve for now, but for the generations to
For the
come.
generations to come.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes,
And that's
yes,
the great thing about writing books.
yes.
These books they can last a lifetime.
A
So
lifetime,
even
yes.
though, you may one day be with your father in heaven, the book
Mm-hmm.
will live on for those that
Will
are
be up
coming
here.
and
Yes,
a
yes.
testimony or a testament to what they're going through and say, okay, this is helpful. This is helpful
Mm-hmm.
to me. So that is awesome. And I really do commend you for taking that bold step to write your story. Some of us, myself included, is yet to write our story.
Yes, yes.
Even though, we've other persons who have said, need to write the story, etc.
Uh-huh.
But I think
Yes.
with that whole, when you started up, when you said you didn't like the idea of getting your life out there like that, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
a drawback for a lot of us that are not yet or have not yet written or stories, or memorial stones, so to speak.
Yes, yes.
So it is a matter of time, I guess, for some of us
Mm-hmm.
to get there,
Yes.
yeah. Because again, it's not about us, it's about His
It's about
glory.
others.
Mm.
Yes.
All right. So what do you hope readers will take away from your book?
Okay. So I want persons who read this book to be inspired, to build their faith, knowing that, God is not just a hairy-fairy idea out there. He is real. He is concerned about the issues in our lives. And even sometimes, as I use that scripture, even sometimes, even before we even pray, He knows
Mm-hmm.
our needs.
He
And
knows our
sometimes
needs.
He goes ahead and He provides even before we call to Him. He says, before they speak, I'm answering. Before they
Yes.
call, I will hear. So just know that He is a rock that we can run to no matter what is happening in our lives. He is a stable and a firm foundation who
Mm-hmm.
we can run to and be safe and know that He's just there for us. He is concerned about everything in our lives. Sometimes we think that it's just the big things, but he's concerned about the little things. And if I may just share something that I wrote as a blog
Sure, yeah.
just last week,
Right
you know,
ahead.
normally I have a number of pens because I do a lot of writing. So I have one in my bag, one in my work bag, one in my church
Yes.
bag, one in my journal. So when I'm ready, I can just
Just
get a
right
pen. And
anywhere and anytime. Yeah.
yes, and then Sunday I was in church and I was ready to take notes. And then I realized that I didn't have a pen. And I said, oh, I forgot because I had run out and I should have gotten some pen, but I forgot. And then Monday morning, I'm walking. And at the end of the walk, my friend that was walking with me, she just she gave me something. When I looked, 2 pence. And I said, whoa,
Look
I
at
didn't
that.
even have to. Yes, because I
Yeah.
need, how did you know that I needed pens?
Pens,
But God
yeah.
saw and He just provided. So it's a simple thing, but
Simple.
I
Yeah,
still give
but
thanks
but
because He
still.
says in everything we're to give thanks. So
Yes,
I
yes.
give thanks just for that. So God sees our needs and sometimes He provides in some ways that we just, we marvel. But whether
Mhm.
big or small, He knows and he makes provisions. So I just want persons to be encouraged that, you know, God is ever present. The word said He's an ever present help in trouble. So we can always call on Him no matter what our situation is. So
Yes.
just be in hope, just build your faith, knowing that He's there for you.
Right, right, right. Great encouragement, great encouragement.
Yes.
I think that's what, persons may draw from the book, the
Mhm.
encouragement that no matter what, God is there and He
Situation,
is
yes.
watching over us. And no matter how simple we may think something is,
Yes, He still
He cares
cares.
about it.
Yes,
He cares about
yes.
it. He cares about everything that concerns us.
Mhm.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right. So moving on to our next question. What advice would you give aspiring writers, aspiring authors who have a story to tell but don't know where to start?
To start.
Describe your
Yes,
writing process. Did you
yes,
have any rules, anything like that?
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm. Yes, I've come across a number of persons who say, boy, I want to write, but I don't know where to start.
Mm-hmm.
But as I say, just start, just start. The journey of 1,000 steps or 1,000 miles begin with a single step. So
Mm-hmm.
just start. And once you make a start, it makes it a little easier. The hardest thing is to start.
Start,
Once
yeah.
you start, it will make it easier. So just have a plan, what it is you want to get done on paper. Have a plan. And then in order to write, I would suggest that you find a place where it's quiet, where you won't be distracted. I can't work in noise. I have to have a quiet environment, not even music. It
Mm-hmm.
has to be totally quiet. So you have to know what works for you and
Yes.
you get your ideas done. It doesn't have to be perfect, because you will have to do several drafts. It doesn't have
Yes.
to be perfect, but you get your idea down and then know that's where you need somebody to edit and to help you to put things together so that the flow can be easier and all of that. But just get it down and then you can get somebody to help you with the editing or to do the editing for you because you may not have that expertise. Even if you do have the expertise, it's not the best thing to write and then try to edit
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you have to take
Good
a
to get a
break.
second
Yeah, but
opinion on
most
on it.
persons,
Yes.
yes, most persons they do the writing and then they would need somebody to edit. But so my encouragement is just or my advice is just to make a start and just make up your mind. Um, just make up your mind that you have to do it, and then once you start, and the help that you need will come. It's
Okay.
amazing how sometimes we worry that we don't have this and we don't have that, but once we begin, the
Mm-hmm.
resources will come, and you will make the right connections. You will meet the right people. I have
Mm-hmm.
seen that even recently when I wanted to do a website, and I had a blog, wanted to do a website, and I met somebody, an intern who came to my office, and we started talking. And she told me that she was a blogger, and we started talking. And then the very thing that I wanted to develop my blog to a website. And
Mm-hmm.
she gave me some advice, and that inspired me, to get on with that because I had been thinking about it for quite a while, but I never got around to it. And just that one conversation with her pushed
Yes.
me into it. So, just talk to people. You will meet, God will send destiny helpers too to help you along the way. So just start and pray about it. Ask God to just give you that wisdom. And you just start, you make the first step, and the rest will fall into place. It may
Okay.
take a while, but it will
But
happen
it
because we
will.
all go at different paces. Not
Mhm.
everybody. Some people can sit down and write. Some people say they get a download and they just write. I can't write like that. I write in stages. So
Stages.
whatever works for you, but you just stick with a routine, find a routine and stick with it, and you will get it done eventually.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that advice.
Mhm.
So that basically do an outline,
Mhm.
find your routine, and get it
Mhm.
done. It's
Yes.
gonna take a day at a time, step at a time to get there. But the most important thing
It
is to start.
to make the start. Yes, it's the hardest step.
The hardest step
Yes.
is to start.
Yes.
All right. So we know that there's a Memorial Stones Book 1,
Mhm.
and we know that there's a Memorial Stones Volume 2. So, are
Yes.
there any plans for another, maybe
Volume 3. Ah,
3?
not sure if there's a possibility.
Uh-huh.
What I do, I have ideas for other books. I've been writing down ideas. I haven't started working on anything yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a possibility for a volume 3. But in the meantime, what I do, because I always seem to have testimonies, and I find that even the simplest of things, I can see something as a
Yeah,
testimony I
as a
can share.
testimony,
So
yes.
what I have been doing is sharing some of them as blogs. But then persons have said to me,
And
you
turn the
probably need
blogs
to
into
put
a
all of
book.
those blogs together in a book.
Mm-hmm.
So that is another possibility as well. But some way, somehow, I will get more material out there. I'm kind of holding off on the writing for now because come next month, I'll be starting a course. So I know my time will be limited.
Limited,
But
yeah.
after the course, because I want to just focus on that and to do my best. So I don't want
Mm-hmm.
my time to be stretched too
To be
thin so I
stretched
can
too thin.
focus on what I have in front of me. So I'll do that. And then after that, I'll get, some more writing done. Yes.
Okay, all right. All
Yes.
righty. Okay, that is awesome. Thank you for that information. So we have something to look forward to, whether it is a
Yes.
volume 3 or something else, we will look
Yes.
forward to
Yes,
something
definitely,
when you get the
definitely.
opportunity to do
Because
so.
yes, I
Yes,
realize that that is part of my purpose. I tell
yes.
you something, because I've always been good at English in school. It was my favorite subject, and I did my first degree in English. So English was always my first love. But I remember when I was small, I used to stand and write in the air. Don't ask me what I was writing. I used to write in the air, and my
Yeah,
siblings would laugh at me. But I persisted, and I guess it was a sign of things to come.
right, right. Here you have volume 1, volume
Volume 2.
2. I guess
Yes,
you were
a
just,
sign of things to come.
manifesting, from that time.
Yes,
You were
yes,
getting it
yes,
done. It was just a matter
yes,
of time for you to get here, right?
yes,
And who knows, and you're blogging, so that's also,
yes,
a part
yes.
of the journey. So it seems
Mhm.
like writing is your
Yes,
testimonies, to share
yes,
your
yes, yes.
stories, to help others, to enrich lives with your
Hmm.
testimonies. That's a part of your
Yes,
purpose.
yes, yes, it is
So it's
definitely.
awesome when we find
And
out what
it's
purpose
and
is.
it's such a joy when you're walking in purpose. It makes such a
Mm-hmm.
difference. Yes.
Makes such a difference. I am
Different.
telling
Yes.
you, it makes such a
Mhm.
difference. I'm not gonna say I 100% know exactly
Mhm.
what it is as yet for
Mhm.
me, but I think
Mhm.
I'm on the track.
The journey, yes,
I'm on the
yes,
journey.
because it,
I'm on
it
the
takes a
journey.
while, and not many of us knew. It's just of late that I've been learning all of this. All of this is fairly new to me,
Mm-hmm.
but I am, open and I'm learning. And, as I said, the process continues and there is always room for improvement. So, but I am good with it. Yes.
Okay, great. Great, great, great. Thank you so much. All right. So, I think you kind of just mentioned it, but when you were actually writing the books, How did you balance your work and your church life and your writing life? How did you balance it all when you were doing it?
Yes, it's quite a bit, and right now I have a lot on my plate, so I just have to organize myself. There's a saying that things don't happen by osmosis, so you have to be deliberate. You have
Deliberate,
to
yes,
deliberate. You have
yes,
to
yes.
plan, because even now that I'm blogging, I try to put out a blog every week. So, and
Wow.
when I'm not blogging, I'm maybe working on, because even before when I was working on Memorial Stones 1 and 2. What I used to do, mornings are best for me. So I used to ensure that I go to bed early enough so I can get up early. And I am at work before 6:30 in the mornings. Yes.
Wow.
And then, yes, I go to my computer and I start working. And I will take a break, have some breakfast, and then I go back. So within that 2 hour period, I get a lot done. So that is my best time. There are other times that I may find some time on the weekend to do a little work, but mornings, early morning when my brain is fresh, that is the best time for me. So that has been my routine, because I have to balance now the writing, plus I am serving in my community. I'm serving at church. I have work and other things. So it's a lot. So I have to have some structure. And I'm also doing this mentorship program, which has been a great blessing, because that is one that has helped me to fully come into purpose, and understand who I am, and to bring structure, routine to my life. So, you have a number of tasks to do. You set goals and you work towards them. So all of that has been helping me. So I am really grateful. And I would encourage anybody out there who wants to get into mentorship, even though we're not talking about that, but
Yes,
it's
yeah,
a
man.
good
Go
thing,
ahead, go
because it
ahead.
really
Yeah,
it
because
really helps you to add structure to your life, and among other things, but that is one of the things, one of the ways that I have gained from it. So it has been really beneficial, and it has helped me in my journey as an author. And it will help me later on, because, as you continue to take on other things, your time there will be more things competing for your time. So I will now have to learn to balance even better, because even after school,
yes.
just want to throw it out there that probably about 2 or 3 years ago, I did put in an application to become a justice of the peace, and the Lord spoke to me. And I think I wrote about it in one of the volumes as well, a clear word. So I did that. That has not yet come through because there is a backlog. So when that comes, it will be more on my plate. But, with God's help and wisdom, because there may be some things that you may have to put aside for a season, but in order to get to the most important thing at the time, because you have to prioritize sometimes.
Yes,
So
yes.
you have to have structure and routine. So that is how I have balanced my life and my writing and everything else that I have to do.
Structure and routine. Yes, that
Yes.
is very important, because
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of us take on a lot at once, and then we
Mm-hmm.
struggle to
Yes,
balance
yes.
it. So,
Mm-hmm.
we need to
Mm-hmm.
find a way to have some sort of
Yes.
structure so
Mm-hmm.
that we can see our clear path as it pertains to
Yes.
what to do,
Yes.
what steps to
Mm-hmm.
take, etc.
Yes.
So you said
Yes.
that sorry, you're a part of a mentorship program that's in
Right.
locally
I'm still,
in
yes,
a
it's somebody from my church. Yes.
oh
It's still
somebody
going.
from your
We
church.
meet. No, we used to meet on a monthly, well, no, we're meeting monthly. We used to meet, I think, maybe twice per month. No,
Mm-hmm.
we're down to month, and we have an accountability WhatsApp group, and, so we keep track of the things that we plan to do and all of that. So it's very beneficial. Very beneficial.
Okay, that is awesome. That is awesome. So
Yes.
other persons can get into it, or it's just about your church members and stuff.
Not necessarily. It's mainly Christian based though. So it's really for persons who want to build their faith and all of that. But it's open to anybody.
It's open to
Open to
anyone.
anybody. Once you're a child
You're a
of God who is
child of
desirous
God.
of going higher. Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Okay, that is great. That is awesome. All right, so everyone out there, if you desire to get stronger in God, go closer to Jesus, then I guess you can maybe contact Lona Isaacs, and she'll be able to put you
share the
on that
information.
program that she's a part of to say, how you can, get some help in that regard. All right. Thank you so very much for, participating in this interview, for us to get some insights, very powerful work that you're doing with your books, sharing your testimonies, impacting lives. We appreciate you so very much for putting yourself out there and taking the time, 4 years, 4 years to write it. That's quite a considerable amount of time. So we appreciate you for getting this done so you can bless the lives of others. Are there any final things, words that you'd like to share? Anything else that you'd like to say before we go?
Yes, I'd just like to invite persons out there, those who have not yet purchased their copies of Memorial Stones, to do so. It will be life-changing and you won't regret it. I can assure you.
I assure. Yes, I'm telling you. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't finished it as yet, but I started it and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. This is
Feedback
awesome.
has been amazing.
This is
Yes.
awesome. This is awesome. This is really touching. So get your copy of Memorial Stones, Volume 1, from the SPC Bookshelf. We also have Volume 2, if you'd like to get your copy of that early before we get into Volume 2. But yeah, get your copy of Memorial Stones, Volume 1 from the SPC Bookshelf. You can contact us. I'll leave the URL for the website down below. And you can go on our website and just purchase directly from the website. Or you can call us, contact us in any way to get your copy. Memorial Stones, Volume 1. Right? So we look forward to our book club meeting on September 28th, which is the last Saturday of this month. Our meetings are normally held on the fourth Saturday. So it'll be the last Saturday of this month that we're going to be having our book club meeting, where we will get into Memorial Stones Volume 1. So get your book, come prepared to have a rich discussion on how this book has impacted your life. All right. So thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time on the SPC Book Club. All righty. Bye-bye.